My name's Danni. I'm a mum of 2 and I have a phobia of sharks.
Both Danni and her 12-year-old daughter Grace have a love of the sea and for the surfing lifestyle. But Danni's fear of sharks is preventing them from living the life they both desperately want.
When you're knee-deep in seawater and the waves are coming in, you look out to the horizon. That sea's full of sharks for me.
Love you too.
There's this huge will inside of me to actually go in and go and swim in the sea. And it's almost like there is a glass wall in front of me and I just cannot push through that glass wall to go any deeper.
Danni hasn't been able to swim in deep water for over 34 years after suffering a childhood trauma.
I can remember being at the beach with my parents. My brother and I were out in the dinghy. He would swim around and come up the side of the boat and pretend to be a shark and try and bite me and things. And I just got so upset. I was quite hysterical by the time I got back onto the beach. This photograph is of myself in the rubber dinghy with my brother behind. And I'm in quite a hysterical little state, crying and trying to get back to my mum on the beach.
Danni was always quite a tough little girl, but so I was quite surprised to hear all this screeching.
From that point on, I can't remember going in the sea from that moment on, really, from that holiday.
The experience left Danni in constant fear of sharks.
I'm afraid of sharks in every situation. When we're at the beach, obviously, it's more intense. If you're trawling through the internet and a picture of a great white pops up, then that's immediate anxiety. I'm jumping and sweating. See, my heart, just because that's the sea, my heart just went because I thought that was going to be a shark. But it's not, it's a turtle, so you're okay.
Now Danni's phobia is affecting her relationship with her daughter Grace.
Her fear is like taking over her life. Her fear of sharks, it's completely taking over her life. And it's so frustrating for me. Her phobia is restricting us from having more fun.
So that's the swell, and it'll move in that direction, look.
Every time you watch something like this and you think, oh my God, I really want to do that, you know what I'm going to say, it's phobia first.
I know, I've got to go over it. I feel like I'm letting her down, really. This is the one thing that I've always wanted to do and she's always wanted to do. But it's just, I just can't let her do it. 5 foot, darling?
I can do that if you'd let me.
Mondays 3 to 5 foot.
When your kids want something, you do it.
Danni's mother Mary is worried for granddaughter Grace if the problem continues.
I think with Danielle, although she's holding herself back by not participating fully in the surfing, I think she's afraid that she's going to convey this fear to Grace.
If Grace inherits this fear from me, I'm going to be so cross with myself and I'll be absolutely mortified for her because she's such an active, outgoing girl.
Can the Speakmans help to unite Danni and her daughter to give them both the life they've always wanted?
To continue living with this phobia is life-limiting.
I would love my mum to get over it because I still would like a mum that can come out surfing with me and not be afraid of sharks.
For Danni and Grace to be able to surf at the same stage, it would make a better bond between them.
To go into the water without having any fear would be just such a release. To be able to dive under the waves and not have this fear that my leg's going to get bitten off. It's just freedom.
Nik and Eva arrive at Danni's home to meet with her and her mother Mary. Will they be able to help Danni to overcome her fear?
It's really important to me that today works. I feel like I have missed out on so much.
Hello. I'm Eva, pleased to meet you. Hello.
I just really want to be able to break through that barrier and enjoy life to its fullest, really.
So I've come to see Danni today with a shark phobia, which in the scheme of things may not sound life and death or really that stressful, but what we know is that anybody who has a phobia, they're restricting their life. Nobody should restrict their life. Nobody should have anxiety about going to the beach or swimming or, or being feared that something's going to come and get you every time you go in the water, especially if you live in a community near the beach, surfer lifestyle. So to Danni, this is going to be a very real issue, and we're really interested to see how it affects her.
40-year-old Danni has lived with a severe phobia of sharks for 34 years.
I'm afraid of sharks in every situation.
Her fear is preventing Danni from living the life that she wants for both herself and her daughter Grace.
I feel like I'm letting her down, really.
Nik and Eva take Danni to a local beach where they begin to assess her anxiety when she's close to water.
So you're already feeling tummy tightening?
Yeah. You start thinking, how far in am I going to have to go and what's out there and all those sorts of things. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And what being out there particularly? Is it just sharks?
Yeah.
That's it, that's
Yeah.
what I'm
That's it.
thinking.
Yeah.
So that we know where you are throughout. If we're scaling 0 to 10, 0 being I am totally chilled, and
Yeah.
10 being like I am having a massive panic attack and I'm hysterical.
Okay.
Where are you just on the water's edge?
I'm about a 2 or a 3, I think.
Okay, so what if we go a bit
Go a bit deeper.
a bit closer? We actually go in the water.
Yeah,
that
that's
change?
okay. No, because now I'm in it, I can breathe through it.
And whereabouts are the sharks right now?
They're over there,
Just the bit that you can't see.
just out there somewhere. They're there. Yeah.
Okay. But what's interesting about this, Eva, they come in for Danni, but guess what?
What?
She's never seen one. That's the thing, isn't it? And if you think about that logically and you applied that to your life as it is now, you'd never do anything, would you? Because there's loads of things that you've never seen
Yeah.
that you encounter in your life and you're not scared of.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Okay.
But I'd like to go a bit deeper into the water, is that all right with you?
Yeah.
So let's just go a bit further in. Does this make any difference?
No, this is okay.
Can you feel that drop?
Yeah. I just felt the drop off and I don't know how deep that's going to go.
Okay. So would it be all right for me to go?
You can go.
So you're putting my life in danger?
Yeah.
Because you don't tell me.
With the Speakmans seeing firsthand Danni's limitation in and around water, they leave to begin the mediation session, hoping to find out more about why her phobia began.
How do you actually think that this phobia started?
I think there are 2 main structures to it. The first is I can remember watching the film Jaws as a child. And then I think following on from that, family holidays. On this day in particular, my brother and I were playing in the dinghy. I can remember him taking me out and he's swimming around the boat pretending to be a shark and he's shouting, "Shark down, shark down." I can remember him and he holds the side of the boat and he comes up and he opens his mouth at me. And as you can see, I'm pretty upset in the picture.
When you see this picture, Danni, what do you feel?
It's quite upsetting, really, isn't it?
That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing
Yeah.
a sadness, really, when I look
Yeah.
at you. It's almost like you're sort of looking at that little girl
Yeah.
and feeling sorry for her.
Yeah. It's kind of like the day the book closed, really.
Just explain that.
I can't remember going in the sea after that day. Not out of my depth or getting in boats and things like that. I can't remember doing it since that day.
And that day, the day the book closed, as you put it, was because from that day you become frightened of sharks.
Yeah. And it's more than that, it's being out of control in the water. I think there's an element of that to it as
But
well.
that's what I'm seeing there, a little girl that feels out of control in the water.
Yeah.
And that's just continued from that moment.
On the face of it, you've got a fear of sharks.
Yeah.
So how does it affect your life?
Well, basically, it kept me out of the sea for about 30 years.
Okay.
And having children and going to the beach and things, you want to be able to swim with them in the sea, and I've never been able to do that. In the last few years, Grace and I have started bodyboarding, and both of us really, really want to learn to surf properly. But in order to go and learn to surf properly, you need to be able to go into deep water. So while I can go in the sea knee deep now. I can go and paddle and things and catch small waves as they come in on a bodyboard. I'm not able to go out into the deep water.
Why is it such a big thing to you?
Because I want to be able to dive under the waves and enjoy all these experiences with Grace and just, it'd be like taking the lid off the box and it would be just opening up a whole new world to go and explore.
So we've actually got a message from Grace, because obviously Grace isn't here today.
Mum, I really hope you can get over this phobia because it will mean we can have much more fun together and we can go in the sea deeper and me and you can have much more fun together.
How does that make you feel that you can't share something you don't obviously so desperately want to do with your daughter?
It's incredibly frustrating to be in the sea and to have all this will inside of you that you just want to go that extra couple of metres out and you just physically can't push yourself.
What happens?
I get really panicky. And there's also the part of it where I'm trying to protect Grace from it as well. When we're in the sea together, I always keep her next to me or in front of me so I know that she's not too deep to get had by a shark as well.
So you're protecting Grace from sharks or from picking the phobia up from you? Which one?
Sharks. Okay. When we're in the sea, it's all about the sharks.
So you're frightened of going in the sea because of sharks, but you've never actually seen a shark in the sea?
Not in the sea, no.
Does that make much sense to you at all?
No.
Okay. I'm glad you said that.
No, I'm perfectly aware that it's the most irrational, ridiculous thing to have, to be frightened of going in the sea in Devon when there are no sharks in the sea in Devon. I'm fully aware of that. But when you actually get in the water, all I can see and all I can think about is the shark the other side of the depth. There's almost like an invisible wall that there's the shark and I'm okay because I'm over here.
How do you see this, Mary? What's your take on this shark phobia?
I remember when she was very small, I remember her brother teasing her and the sharks and things. But I don't swim. My husband didn't swim. So they were never allowed to go out in the water deep anyway. No farther than I could get them back anyway. But I didn't realise it had gone on all these years.
What's really interesting, Mary, is that you said you're not a swimmer, your husband wasn't a swimmer,
Yeah.
so your children were restricted.
Anyway,
They
yes.
were restricted. Do you recall that?
I can't remember, no.
Yeah, but the restriction, as far as I was concerned, was how far I could wade out to get you back, which is what I did when he
How does
got
that
upset.
sound with your situation right now? I could only wade out to where I could get you.
But that's what I think with Grace. I don't let her go any deeper than I can get her back.
We learn behaviour. So phobias are anything is either learned through copying or learned through a personal experience. And it would appear that you've got both. What your mum said, you're mimicking that behaviour.
Both Danni and Mary have written letters to each other to help them talk more openly about how they feel.
Very few words. Dear Danni, I'm so sorry because I just didn't realise how much this shark fear has affected you. I know Matthew used to scare you when you were little, but having learned to swim and enjoy the water, I thought everything was okay. I just didn't know. As I've not really seen you surfing, I wasn't aware of the effect of the deep water. I really hope, the outcome of this is good. You deserve something good in your life right now. Grace will be proud of you. So will I. Best of luck. From Mum.
Ah, that's lovely, Mary. Thank you.
So you've written a letter too, Danni?
I have. Okay, dear Mum, I know you didn't realise how bad the fear was, but that's probably because I'm generally pretty embarrassed about it and try to hide it as much as I can. It stems from childhood and is still present now. I worry it will affect Grace. I worry it will hold her back, will limit her life too. I need to address this situation, this ridiculous fear, and get over it, move forward and be able to enjoy the sea and surf with grace. I hope to fill the puzzle, break down the wall, and give us the freedom to explore the ocean. I'm scared, happy, excited at the possibility of conquering this and look forward to having the freedom of the sea. Love, Dan.
Have you ever had nightmares about sharks?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
The shark swam along and grabbed Grace. And I said to the shark, you can't do that. You attack from underneath. You can't just swim along and grab her. You've got to attack from underneath. So he spat her out, swam away, and then attacked from underneath and got her anyway.
See, what's also interesting about that, you're saying that sharks attack from underneath. The poster for Jaws was exactly that.
Yeah, it's the teeth with the swimmer, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not actually what they do. Obviously, that picture is stuck in your mind from when they started.
But I always, when I'm in the sea, I always think as long as I've got my feet on the sand, they can't get me from underneath.
No, they can't get you from underneath because you stood on the sand, but they can certainly get you head on.
Will you go in the deep end of a swimming pool?
I will do it because I can rationalise myself out of it, because I know it's a tank of water and there aren't any sharks in it.
But you're not comfortable doing it, are you?
No, I'm not comfortable, no.
Okay. And why are you not comfortable? Say it. Why are you not comfortable being in the deep end of a swimming pool, Danni?
Because I
Tell
think
me.
there might be sharks there.
Okay. I can see that you felt really embarrassed saying that, but it's not just you. And we've even worked with people that actually won't have a bath on their own
Really?
because they're worried about sharks coming up the plug hole.
Oh, gosh. OK, I don't feel quite so silly now.
Okay.
We can already see, Danni, that you've learned some behaviours from your mum. Because your mum doesn't swim and doesn't go in the sea, this sort of standing and being able to be where I can get hold of you, that's actually carried forward to you.
And of course, we're forgetting Dad was absolutely petrified
Yeah,
of water.
Dad was petrified.
Water.
Petrified of water.
He wouldn't. He
That's
wouldn't.
really interesting.
Her dad, he wouldn't get in a boat.
Did you ever see your dad anxious by water that you can recall?
Only the
Only
swimming.
at the swimming pool.
Tell us about that.
We were at a neighbour's swimming pool. They had a pool in their back garden. He absolutely hated water and everyone used to tease him about it. And he runs down the side of the pool, puts one toe in, takes it back out and runs back again.
So, how would you feel about going in a boat?
I don't do boats.
If you're in a boat
Yeah.
on the ocean and a shark's going to come and get you, how's that going to work then?
It can bite the side of the boat.
Okay, so it can bite through a boat, can it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's as long
Or
as I
it
understand
can
that. Right.
hit the boat and tip me out.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Okay. What's really interesting, Eve, is that everything that Danni's talking about here is all based on the film Jaws, which I will say that it's actually a film and it's not real life.
Why are you feeling so anxious right now?
Because I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I know it's ridiculous, and I know that you're more likely to get eaten by a hippo than a great white, and I know all this stuff. But what I can't get in my head, I can't get it to stay there and override the shark thing when I'm in the sea.
Mary, could I ask you to speak to Danielle and tell her what your worries are and what you would like for the future for her?
The only thing I would say is this obsession might be overpowering everything else, and if you could combat this fear, you will, then you're going forward. Because if you can do that, you can do anything.
Yeah.
That's very true. That is very, very true.
Are you aware how many times you think about sharks?
I don't think I am, but the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm realising how much it is in the back of my mind all the time in situations I get myself into.
It has to be. For you to have a phobia, anybody that has a phobia, it's almost like a computer program that is consistently opened. It might be minimised when you're distracted, but it's never fully closed.
No.
Because you've created the phobia to protect yourself. That's why it's there.
Yeah.
And even when you're asleep, it's there.
Yeah.
Which is why you have nightmares about sharks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we've established that, obviously, you've had the shark phobia for many years, that it does inhibit your life because of the things, the people that you socialise with, and because surfing is a big part of your community and your friendship circles. We can see that it affects you in boats, deep water. It's stopping you from doing what you really want to do and impacting your daughter at a time where you feel you want to be doing fun things together.
Absolutely.
So I think the big question is, Danni, are you ready to change?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
Fabulous. Well, in that case,
Good to us, yeah.
let's begin.
Let's get started.
Let's go.
Come on, then.
As Danni's phobia began at the beach, Nik and Eva have chosen to take her back to the beach for her treatment session.
We've just come out of mediation with Danni, and the one thing that really, really comes across is that Danni is so embarrassed about this phobia. She just feels so silly.
I'd never really thought about how much I thought about sharks, to be honest. The references I make to sharks in everyday life, I don't even recognise because I've had it for so long.
Her mum actually said that getting over this phobia could potentially help her to do many things in the future, and I genuinely believe that. She has a cloud that hangs over her every single day. It does hold her back, it does cause anxiety. She's not being honest to her loved ones and certainly not to herself. Potentially, it's going to give her a real confidence boost as well, because like her mum said, if she can get over this, she can do anything.
Danni has lived with a severe fear of sharks since childhood.
You look out to the horizon, that sea's full of sharks for me.
Desperate for help, she's reached out to the Speakmans.
To go into the water without having any fear would be just such a release.
Will they be able to free Danni so she and daughter Grace can build a stronger relationship?
Her phobia is restricting us from having more fun.
Earlier, Nik and Eva tested the severity of Danni's fear in the water. They decide to bring her back to the beach to begin her treatment session.
I've got some photographs here that I'd like to show you, and I'd like you to be really honest.
Okay.
Tell me, you know, what you feel and scaling your fear. Is that okay?
Yeah,
So, first one.
that's about a 3 or a 4.
So just looking at that picture would give you a 3 or a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay. That one?
About the same,
Okay. What?
because it's calm. They're just swimming
Okay.
quite calmly. They're not in attack mode or anything, so.
And here's your favourite. What does that do?
That's about a 5 or a 6.
And you find that hard to look at?
Yeah.
So when you say it's a 5 or a 6, just explain to me what you're feeling.
It just puts that hole that goes through my brain, it's just right there in front of me, and it makes it real.
Okay. So we've established, and you agree, that you watched the film Jaws with your brother.
Yeah.
Were you just watching it and just feeling scared like any young...
Yeah, from behind a cushion kind of thing, yeah.
But not hysterical?
No.
So you watch that.
Are there any particular bits in that film that stick in your mind that frighten you the most?
There's this scene where the girl's in the sea and you just see her being dragged left and right by the shark, and she's literally going like that.
Okay.
And also when it's attacking the boat.
So you watched the film and it was a scary film. And then that probably would have just been okay. But then what followed was that your brother took you out onto some water. You felt very vulnerable.
Yeah.
You didn't know how deep the water was.
No.
And he pretended to be a shark and was shouting shark and coming up and opening his mouth.
Yeah.
At that point, for you to have had any fear is because you related it back to this. So this kind of created the awareness, and then the incident with your brother,
Yeah.
he got you into a heightened state of emotion. And despite there being no shark there, you you blamed the shark. Is that right?
But yeah,
Okay.
Now, the interesting thing about this is that you created this when you were 6. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things that you did when you were 6 that as an adult now you'd look at them and you would never consider doing them anymore.
no, probably not.
So Jaws was a big film in the 70s. It was
Yeah.
like one of the major blockbusters of the 70s. But I've actually got a couple more here, and I just wondered, see, this is one, this is another. Okay.
Okay.
Now, are you frightened of E.T.?
No.
Do you believe in E.T.?
No.
Okay. You see, that's interesting because you believe that there's a massive man-eating shark out there coming to get you,
Yeah.
and yet you don't believe in E.T.
No, I don't.
But there were films at the same time. And also another major film at the same time, Close Encounters. Have you had any visits from aliens?
No.
Well, funnily enough, actually, you've not had any visits from sharks either, have you?
No.
Okay, right.
That's really quite
That's
amazing,
yeah,
that,
isn't it?
Nick.
Yeah. So you're not frightened of aliens
No.
because they've never visited you, but you're frightened of sharks even though they haven't either.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you a question. We know the reason why you're protecting yourself against sharks is the fact that you're in that dinghy and you're in a state of high anxiety and your brother was shouting shark. So you link that anxiety to sharks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That's as a 6-year-old child. Now, you're a 40-year-old adult. Tell me, in that situation, who was causing the anxiety?
My brother was.
Okay. So who should you have blamed?
My brother.
What did the shark have to do with it?
Nothing.
Did one even turn up?
No.
Okay. So my big question for you right now, Danni, is it time to stop blaming the shark for something that it never did? And to see it for what it is, and to realise that if you want to blame anybody for this situation, who are you blaming?
My brother.
Okay. Just leave you with that one for a minute. There we go, it starts sinking in, isn't it? You see? Just to be sure before you let this go, there definitely wasn't a shark attacking you, just...
No. Definitely not.
And there was definitely no shark to be seen.
No.
And it was just your brother.
Yeah.
And you've never been attacked by a shark since?
No.
Or before,
No.
or at that moment.
No.
And the likelihood of being attacked by a shark in the UK?
0.
Okay. So in actual fact, going back to the story that you told us when we first met, putting that into perspective, you're actually not frightened of sharks, you're frightened of your brother pretending to be a shark.
Yeah.
Right.
So now that you're starting to be a grown-up,
Yeah.
we'd like to share some other grown-up facts with you. I'll do one each.
Okay. So, shark facts. You've got a 1 in 63 chance of dying from flu and a 3,700,000 chance of being killed by a shark.
Give that shark to Danny, let her have a read of it, and then we'd like to stab it in the sand. But it's really absorb that. And just
Okay.
Yeah.
coconuts are more dangerous than sharks.
Didn't know that, did you?
Falling coconuts kill around 150 people a year. Sharks kill up to 10 in the whole world.
Okay.
Shark attacks kill around 10 humans a year
Worldwide.
worldwide. Humans kill between 20 to 30 million sharks a year.
That's a horrible
That's
statistic.
horrible.
Isn't it?
I don't particularly like them, but I don't want them to die either.
Toasters and chairs kill 10 times more people every year than sharks.
Do you have a toaster?
Yes.
Do
Have you got chairs?
Yes.
Put yourself at risk. Jaws. And that's the thing that started this off.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg based the shark in Jaws on the prehistoric megalodon. And it was huge.
Yeah.
And even great whites are not as big as they were depicted in Jaws.
So that wasn't real.
So that wasn't real either.
What are you thinking right now?
I'm just thinking that I've gone through the vast majority of my life with all this stuff in my head that just actually wasn't based on any facts whatsoever.
But it was true for a 6-year-old girl.
Yeah.
A prehistoric shark in a film and a brother pretending to be a shark.
Yeah. And as a 40-year-old woman, that is completely irrational.
Good. I'm glad you're seeing it for that.
Yeah.
So is it time to stop believing it?
Yeah.
It's time to stop blaming the sharks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Megalodon.
Let's go back to these. And I'd like you to notice the difference.
So go on, let's go for the big one, Eva. Now, this is not a prehistoric shark,
No.
right, as depicted in Jaws. This is
Okay.
a real shark, and the one that you feared the most. Looks like it's laughing to me.
It's probably laughing at me.
That's exactly it, yeah. How do you feel looking at that now?
A lot better than I did.
It's a picture.
It is a picture. Yeah.
I believe it, do you?
Yeah. We'd like to introduce you to these. What do you think?
I'll give it a go.
Come on then.
For me, the light bulb moment was when Nick said to me, "So who do you blame, the shark or your brother?" And that's when it really clicked in my head that the fear was put in place by my brother teasing me rather than by an actual shark. And all those facts, you know, coconuts kill more people than sharks do. You just feel a little bit ridiculous, really.
And as soon as she got it and we started to feed the real facts through that she could consider as an adult, you could kind of see the whole thing just melt away. Absolutely convinced she's over it.
It's nice to be able to think that I could possibly go in the water now and not feel the anxiety that I did before. And hopefully, if we put it to the test, then I'm going to really break through it and Gracie and I will be able to go on and do everything we've always wanted to.
For 34 years, Danni's life has been overwhelmed by a fear of sharks.
When I'm in the sea, I always think as long as I've got my feet on the sand, they can't get me from underneath.
Causing a strain in her relationship with daughter Grace.
If Grace inherits this fear from me, I'm going to be so cross with myself.
Can Danni finally be freed of her fear? Nik and Eva ask Danni's daughter Grace to join them at an aquarium where they will test to see if she's finally free of her phobia. Only a few days ago, the thought of being so close to sharks would have been unbearable for Danni.
What do you think? Look, what's that?
That's a shark.
How do you feel?
Amazed, absolutely amazed that I can actually be in here.
What was it like last time, Grace, when you were in like this a tunnel? like this?
Literally, we're just race through, head down, gone.
Can you believe that she's just sort of stood here and enjoying it?
No.
And there's a shark just going over us. Are you surprised that you just feel so neutral?
Really surprised.
Have you got any anxiety at all? Anything?
Nothing.
No.
Does that feel odd?
Yeah, very, very odd. I feel like I should have a reaction and I'm not, so yeah.
What does that tell you about your fear of sharks?
I think it might be gone.
Let's go and let's look at some more.
With Danni having let go of her phobia, she can now share new experiences with daughter Grace and build the closer bond they've both longed for.
How's this looking to you, Danni?
It's awesome, isn't it?
It's beautiful. isn't it?
Amazing.
Did you ever think you'd say the word awesome in front of a massive tank
With
full of
sharks?
fish and sharks in it?
No, definitely not.
Have you seen that turtle? How amazing. Quite a few sharks. Very deep here.
Because didn't you at one point say to us that you had a problem with deep water?
Yeah, because you don't know what's in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Speakmans have one final test for Danni.
You see there's a ladder up there. Can you see that ladder there at the back?
Yeah.
Well, that ladder is where people actually climb in to get into this tank.
So, yeah, you absolutely know. So how about me and you climb down the ladder, getting in this tank, in this deep water with those sharks? How do you fancy that?
Let's do it.
Come on then, come with me.
Good luck.
If someone had said to me a couple of days ago I was going to be doing this, I would have never believed that I would get in that tank. I think for Gracie to be watching me doing it as well, I think it's going to be really cool for her. I hope she's going to be really proud of me. I'm proud of myself just walking through the tunnel. To do this as well is just going to be awesome.
This is now the big test. We've got deep water, we've got sharks. So fingers crossed she'll be fine.
With wetsuits on, Danni is ready to submerge herself into the deep water full of fish and sharks.
Tell me how you're feeling. Now you're on that ladder.
I'm fine. It's all good. I've got a fish between my knees.
So am I right in saying that is the furthest you've been in water?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Brilliant. This is brilliant.
That's your mum there.
Have you seen any sharks yet?
Yeah, they were over there. It's really cool.
Oh my word.
That's the best.
You've got to say that your mum looks just so happy.
Well, there's one.
Do you think she looks even remotely distressed or upset in there?
No.
I don't think so either.
The smile on her face from ear to ear is just the best.
I think she's going to come to give you a wave, look. Oh my God, she's laughing, look, she looks so happy. Yes, that's a good sign. She looks hysterical. Oh, she looks amazing.
What would your dad think if he could see you now?
Dad?
Yeah.
I think I was mad. You'd be very proud though. Very proud.
I can't believe she's doing it.
Are you proud of her?
Yeah, my cheeks really.
Yeah, from smiling, me too.
You seen them on the floor?
Yeah, I just spotted them.
Look at that, there's a shark swimming between her legs. That is amazing. So how's your mum looking in there, Grace?
Happy. I'm just so happy, and there are sharks right there, and she isn't bothered.
So she's in deep water, she's with sharks, and she looks happy, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have missed this for anything. This is amazing.
What does this mean now for you?
It means we can go deeper and see and surf. It's brilliant. I can't actually thank you enough, you and Nick enough for doing that. That's brilliant.
I did it.
Yes, you did do it.
Yay!
After nearly an entire lifetime living in fear of sharks, Danni has finally let go of her phobia
I think we can safely say that she no longer has a shark phobia. Well done.
I can't believe that I was underwater with sharks above my head.
That's probably the best life experience, definitely. The best thing I've done to date.
Just thinking about walking into the sea with Eva and just going up to my knees and getting a little bit panicky about where the bottom was going to be, to going into 6 meters with sharks and turtles and all the fish and everything. That's a huge achievement in such a short space of time.
Me and Eva were outside the tank and my cheeks started to hurt because I was smiling so much. And I'm smiling now and my cheeks are already starting to hurt.
We've had a fabulous day with Danni, and she's now able to be free and do whatever she wants and to share fun times at the beach and surfing with the little girl Grace.
Well, Danni, how amazing was that?
That was amazing. It was
What a transformation in you from this morning.
absolutely, absolutely. Such a short space of time to be completely different is unbelievable.
And Danni, we are so proud of you that we have got a little surprise for you. This surfboard is waiting for you back at home for you.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You can take it in picture form, but it is actually waiting for you at home. So
Well
happy
done.
for you. Well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
It's going to be brilliant for Mum's life and my life because she's on about going surfing. So it will be brilliant to go surfing tomorrow.
It's just opened doors now. Grace and I can go scuba diving and we can go surfing and we can go and do whatever we want now. So, yeah, doors definitely opened. Freedom.